And now joining us for an all-out discussion on the NBA Summer League is none other than sports writer Josh Planos. And Josh is in Nazareth, Pennsylvania right now. And in about 24 hours, he will fly to Las Vegas for that Manny Pacquiao fight. Meantime, he's here for the NBA Summer League. Josh, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Andre.
As always, we love having you here on the show. We know the Summer League offers a glimpse, Josh, of what could be the future of a team. That's why no veterans play. It's just the rookies to see who's, got the potential and who's got it. Just how bright is the future of the Sacramento Kings here?
Well, not to take anything away from these guys, Andre, but Summer League is almost always a situation where what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It can look a lot like fake designer clothing in that sense. We've seen guys like Anthony Randolph and Kevin Knox explode in Summer League and then not necessarily pan out in the NBA. So all this is to say, we want to see these guys prove it in the regular season before we crown anyone. But for the Kings, they have a lot to be excited about. It's seldom that the words champion and Sacramento inhabit the same sentence, but credit to the Kings for winning their second ever Summer League crown. Like you mentioned, first team to do so. Yeah. Davion Mitchell, all of the guys that they brought in seem to be working out just fine.
Yeah, you did mention Davion Mitchell. Let's talk about him for a bit. 9th overall pick of this year's loaded draft that had Cade Cunningham there, Jalen Green, Kuminga, and among others. But he, MVP of the, was one of two MVPs of the Summer League. How ready is Davion Mitchell for the NBA, in your opinion? And do you see him as a perfect fit for the Kings that they already have? They have Fox there, Tyrese Halliburton, Bagley.
Yeah, Sacramento's been downright atrocious on defense for years, and that is absolutely Davion Mitchell's calling card. His nickname in college was Off Night because he took players out of their rhythm, and he absolutely showed in Vegas why, he has that moniker. We saw it in the finals, especially with what he did to Peyton Pritchard. He's ready from day one to step in for the Kings and be every bit the best on-ball defender that they have. Like you mentioned, Andre, he's going to slide in nicely with Tyrese Halliburton, with Bagley, with De'Aaron Fox. I think he's going to play immediately. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes, and I think he's exactly what the Kings need right now.
Let's see if he can also live up to his brother, Donovan Mitchell. But Davion is a whole different player here, and I think will fit in well with this young Kings lineup. How about Cameron Thomas, Josh? He's this year's 27th overall pick, turning heads for the Brooklyn Nets. What do you think about him, and how does he fit if ever he makes that lineup in that already, loaded Nets lineup that has KD, Kyrie, Harden, Blake Griffin?
Yeah, I mean, he looks ready to score from day one, doesn't he? He led the whole Summer League, with 27 a game. That's no joke. He, of course, won't get nearly as much opportunity, given that, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, are on that roster. It's not even to say that he's going to play, a lot of minutes, but I think he proved to Steve Nash that, if he gets the call, he's going to be ready to score in a big way. And for a team that already has the most offensive firepower of any in the league, I think that's a scary reality.
Oh, yeah. Steve Nash, being part of that 7 seconds or less lineup would welcome any more offensive power that he can get. Okay, Josh, before we continue this conversation, first let's find out the answer to our quiz question of the day. Time to put Josh back in the hot seat. Which team won the first NBA Summer League championship? Josh Planos, your answer, please, for $1 million. I'm just kidding.
$1 million. I'll go with the Kings. I know I didn't get that right, but.
Well, good thing.
$1 million.
Thank you, Josh. The correct answer is the Golden State Warriors in 2013. So you don't get the $1 million, Josh. The Warriors beat the Phoenix Suns to win the inaugural Summer League title. As if I even have that $1 million to give you if you got it right, though. Okay, speaking of the Dubs, Josh, the rookies, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, were also very impressive during the Summer League. Really two talented young guys, just young, hungry Bulls. How will they fit in this also loaded Golden State lineup? With Klay Thompson coming back, then you have Andre Iguodala returning, then you've still got Steph Curry there, arguably the best shooter alive. Then you have Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, the development of James Wiseman. How do those two fit in?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's healthy I think that typically is how, rookies get slotted in, especially with the team as loaded as Golden State.
Yep.
I think Kuminga is going to be a really great piece. He's obviously very explosive, but it does seem to be a case of, you're either going to have James Wiseman or you're going to have Jonathan Kuminga. I don't think you're going to have both long term for this team. So if they feel stronger about, Kuminga and what he can bring, with his more well-rounded game than Wiseman, then I think that they're going to roll the dice with him. We heard a lot of rumors about, Wiseman's name getting popped up and trade rumors.
Yep.
And I think there might be some merit to that given how well Kuminga played.
Oh, for sure, at least. They have a lot of trade pieces now, young guys, too, in this GSW team. Okay, of course, Josh, I know we Filipinos have our eyes locked on Jalen Green. Even the NBA cards community are excited to have his NBA cards coming up. Our fellow Pinoy, Jalen Green, the second overall pick in this year's draft, playing for the Houston Rockets in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, Green went down with that hamstring injury that kept him out of the Rockets lineup towards the end of the Summer League. Still, he was part of the All-Summer League second team. How impressive did Jalen Green look to you? Did he live up to the hype?
I know I mentioned that we should table expectations, Andre, but I had Jalen Green tabbed above Cade Cunningham on my personal board. Not that that matters all that much, but Jalen Green has the makings of a Filipino legend. This guy is not coming from college. He's coming from the G League. So he's had a year to play against professionals, against grown men, to learn from a guy like NBA veteran Jarrett Jack. And, I think we saw in Vegas that he's ready to take that next step. He's a professional already. He put up 20 points a game on an incredible shooting splits, including 53% from three. This guy can legitimately score 25 to 30 points a game already this season. I know he's a little lanky. I know he takes really tough shots, but this guy's ready to explode. And if I'm a Filipino, I'm excited about Jalen Green and his potential to grow the game of basketball as one of the league's young stars.
Wow, yeah, he's just really, he has, you said it correctly, he has that makings of a superstar. Let's talk about the future, though, of the Rockets with Jalen Green. What does Green offer the team that already has? Of course, there's John Wall, they got Christian Wood, Ken Martin Jr., Jayshawn Tate, and those guys.
Yeah, it was a great week to be a Houston Rockets fan, Andre, with Şengün, Jalen Green, Josh Christopher. It's a great start to a rebuild in Houston. It's going to be a long road back for this team that, sadly lost James Harden, who was obviously central to everything they did. But this trio of rookies that they put on display is exciting, and it gives Houston some hope heading into the new year.
There's that rebuild after the James Harden era. Okay, we've also got to talk about Cade Cunningham, of course, the Detroit Pistons, and the overall #1 pick in the NBA draft. How did Cade, I know Green's been getting all that hype, but how did Cade Cunningham look to you?
I think Cade Cunningham is about as slick on the court as any rookie I've seen. His play looks effortless in the best possible sense. It just looks like he glides around on the court. He sets the tempo. He always sets his teammates up for success. I think Detroit, at minimum, is going to be a very fun team to watch this season, which is not something that the Pistons have been able to say for a while. He's the primary reason why. This guy is again, one of the next bright stars of the NBA. And I think he could easily score more than he does, which is why what makes him so special is, he defers to his teammates and he elevates those around him. So I think Cade Cunningham is a rare breed. And the Pistons are surely excited to have him.
Of course, you still got Sadiq Bey there, Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes. It's going to be a good young core, but he is a smooth operator, Cade Cunningham. Okay, Josh, please stay where you are. And Josh Planos will still be with us after this really quick break, talking about the NBA. They'll have today sports writer Josh Planos coming to us live from the U.S. Okay, Josh, now let's talk about some of the latest offseason moves in the NBA, including the Sixers locking up Joel Embiid for 4 more years. No surprise here that Philly wants to keep the process. And one of last year's MVP finalists, your thoughts on that move, securing and locking in Joel Embiid?
Well, this franchise hasn't won a title since 1983, but locking up Joel Embiid gives this team the hope that they can break that streak. I think Embiid is exceptional when healthy and available. Nobody disputes that. And I know that this team had a disappointing end to the season last year, especially with, the way Ben Simmons unfortunately played in crunch time. But locking up Embiid is a big step, an absolutely essential one if this team hopes to make noise in the playoffs. So good on the 76ers for bringing their guy back.
Well, you mentioned Ben Simmons. As of now, Simmons is still part of the Sixers roster, but lots of speculations, Josh, though we're on where he will end up. There's a lot of gray area there. Minnesota, there's Golden State, Sacramento, San Antonio, all of those teams, and even more have been linked as top destinations for the former number one pick in Ben Simmons. Portland is also a possibility, Josh. Maybe a blockbuster deal involving Damian Lillard. Your thoughts on where Simmons ending up on any of the teams I mentioned?
Yeah, I'd like to see Simmons land just about anywhere other than Philadelphia. To be frank, it's tough to make a deal like this happen, of course, without a third team involved just because of the salaries we're talking about. But I think Chicago and Golden State would be incredible destinations for him, destinations where he wouldn't necessarily need to stretch his range to the perimeter like we talk so often about, and destinations where he could really maximize his skill set. He can run to the rim. Unfortunately, he simply plays on a roster right now where he wants to be in the paint, and you have a guy like Joel Embiid who's already down there in the first place, so there's just not enough space for both of them to operate. Portland sounds great too, especially given that Damian Lillard reportedly wants a change of scenery as well. So no matter where he goes, I think that it'll be a better spot for him than Philadelphia, and hopefully the sides can make it work because by all accounts he wants to leave that team.
Oh, you mentioned Dame already. He's also one of the big names who's been part of those trade rumors ever since the Blazers were knocked out of the playoffs. They did some redo in the coaching staff. Where do you see Damian Lillard go? What would be an ideal destination for Dame?
Well, I think virtually every team in the league would like to have Damian Lillard
for sure
on their roster. The most popular idea is that swap, like you mentioned, of Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. I think him in Philadelphia truly would be the best possible landing scenario for him, just because, you'd have him and Joel Embiid together. I think that would be one of, if not, the most formidable duo in the league. I think that could really take Philadelphia to that next level, that next step toward breaking that streak. Like I mentioned, of 1983, that's a really long championship drought for a fan base that is nothing if not very excited about its team. So I think that would be good for him and certainly good for Philly. But you need a lot of players to make that trade work and a lot of money being thrown around. So certainly more difficult than easy, but it can be done.
Well, meantime, let's go to the East. The Knicks officially introducing Kemba Walker as part of their team. I saw that clip that went viral. Coach Thibodeau joking that he'll play Kemba back-to-back nights. Talk about this move. How does Kemba Walker fit in with Coach Tom Thibodeau and the system that he already has perfectly fit in with this Knicks team?
I mean, I think it makes sense for all sides, Andre. I'm sure Derrick Rose is probably not too thrilled about it, given how well he played last year. Yeah. And, he was able to prove that he could be a formidable starting point guard moving forward. But again, everything I've heard about Kemba is that this knee injury is a chronic one, meaning it's not going to go away anytime soon. So hopefully he can take this season kind of at his own pace. Tom Thibodeau, kind of has a habit of running his players, significant minutes. So not exactly where you want somebody with chronic knee injuries to wind up. But, cardiac Kemba is a killer in crunch time. And that's absolutely what the Knicks need if they hope to make a deep playoff run. And I'm sure they have their sights set past the first round in the playoffs.
How about Evan Fournier, who also had a stellar campaign in the Olympics? How will Fournier fit in with the Knicks?
Yeah, Andre, I'm glad you mentioned the Olympics because Evan Fournier was an absolute mercenary out there for France. I thought he was phenomenal. He's obviously going to, play a big role in Boston. I know that they're really looking for someone like him to stretch the perimeter and kind of alleviate some of that scoring burden that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have to take on most nights. But if he can play the way he did in the Olympics, then, Boston's in for a really good team this year.
Well, do you see any other players on the move, Josh? Possible trade scenarios and free agent signings maybe we should know about?
Yeah, Zach LaVine is a player that has not popped up a whole lot. The Bulls had an opportunity to extend him. They chose not to. And the thinking is that they made that determination because they wanted to prove to him that they were committed to winning by bringing all of these players in. The reality could be that they're trying to find a trading spot for Zach LaVine to bring in a player like a Ben Simmons or like a Damian Lillard, to make a blockbuster move to create, really a long-term winning franchise. So, it'll remain to be seen. And, certainly Zach LaVine could end up on the Bulls, but that's probably the most exciting trade possibility that I know of.
Well, thanks, Josh. Again, as always, a pleasure having you. Stay safe when you head to Vegas, my friend. Enjoy the Pacquiao-Ugas fight, and we'll talk to you on Sunday. We'll call you, give us updates. Again, stay safe, buddy. Thank you. We just had sports writer Josh Planos